Okay, so for this project, I will be interviewing my father, Jose Torres. We will start the interview now. So, Mr. Torres, how old are you?
I'm 59 years old.
So that means you were alive during the majority of the Cold War, right?
Yes.
So, being from Mexico, what was it like living during the Cold War in Mexico?
There was a lot of tension in the air because we didn't know who or what or when things will happen in Mexico. We knew that things were going on in the United States, the Cubans and the Russians. But because we were and still are neutral, but we support the United States in every way, shape, and form. We expected things to happen and we were ready to take on people from the United States escaping the United States to avoid the conflict and moving into Mexico. It didn't help us any because the government is still what it is now, very corrupt. So in the long run, it benefited us more than hurt us.
You talk about all these things about politics. How does this apply to everyday life?
Well, everyday life is politics and economics. If you don't contribute by working, paying your taxes, it affects the economics in any country, especially Mexico. You have to work. Part of your money goes to the government. The other part of the government goes for taxes, and then it makes the economy run like it should if things work out the way they should, but they didn't because most politicians were corrupt, and to some degree they still are. So instead of putting the money back into the system, they bucket it themselves.
You are a veteran and a former Marine, correct?
Right.
When did you become a Marine, and when did you retire as a Marine?
I joined the Marine Corps in March of 1992, and I retired in March of 2000.
Being a Marine, did you participate in any wars?
Yes, I did.
Which war?
The Gulf War of 1990.
Well, can you tell me about the Gulf War? What was it?
There was a tyrant in the country of Iraq named Saddam Hussein, and he ran the whole country along with his family. His two sons and his close allies, they will exploit people, take the wealth, keep it to themselves, and not share it with their citizens. And then not only that, but he became very power hungry, so he wanted to take over the surrounding countries, and he did by taking over Kuwait. And then he was ready to take over Saudi Arabia. That's when the United States decided to interfere and stop him from doing that, because if he was to take over Saudi Arabia, he will have control of most of the oil that most countries need to run their country. So something in his hands would have been chaos for everybody because he will control how things run.
How did the Gulf War end, and what was the result of it?
Well, it ended, I think, at the beginning of 1991. Saddam Hussein was captured. His two sons were killed in battle. Saddam Hussein was tried, and he was found guilty, and he was executed according to the laws of Iraq, and he was hanged. Iraq is now free. They are, for the most part, Democrats, and the people run the government, as far as we know. But of course, in that part of the world, things can change in a matter of days. Iraq was liberated. Kuwait was liberated. Saudi Arabia was safe. He wasn't invaded. Saddam Hussein was put in his place.
What exactly did you do in the Gulf War, and how did you contribute?
My battalion was assigned in Kuwait to protect the Kuwaiti people and the Kuwaiti government. In particular, I was assigned for the safety of the command post out on the field, and my specific duties were to take out patrols and look for the enemy, capture the enemy, and bring them back to the rear, and then turn them over to the United Nations. We did a lot of that, and we were exposed to oil fields being burned by the Iraqi government, and that affected my lungs. But my particular duties were to defend the command post, look for the enemy, capture the enemy, and turn them over to the United Nations.
What was life like as a Marine, and what was training as a Marine like?
It's very different than you could imagine, unless you join the Marine Corps, then you'll know. But I don't think I can describe it. Let's just say it was very disciplined, very extraordinary. Something that no one will know unless they actually walk in our shoes. We train for anything that might happen, which we anticipate things that might happen and train for that. The Gulf War was a good example of that.
So what did you do after you retired as a Marine?
When I retired, I became a teacher, and I'm still teaching to this date in adult ed. So I teach adults. I prepare them to take the test so they can get their high school diploma.
I don't want to be copyrighted.